is your year. Transform yourself completely. 2026 is not arriving to save you. It is arriving to expose you. This is the year where excuses finally lose their power and comfort stops protecting you. Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not motivation. It is preparation. Preparation to become untouchable. Preparation to operate above noise, above emotion, above the need for validation. Most people will enter 2026 hoping things change, hoping someone notices them, hoping life becomes easier. You are not most people. This year is not about becoming liked. It is about becoming dangerous in the quietest way possible. Machiavelli understood this. Power never announces itself. It builds in silence. While others talk, you observe. While others react, you calculate. While others chase attention, you build leverage. 2026 is the year you stop explaining yourself. You no longer need approval to move. You no longer need permission to evolve. The weak announce their plans. The strong move without witnesses. From this moment on, your emotions answer to you, not the other way around. You do not complain. You do not beg. You do not chase. You replace emotional chaos with cold clarity. Discipline becomes your language. Detachment becomes your armor. Silence becomes your threat. This is the mental fort way. You don't raise your voice. You raise your standards. You don't argue. You outgrow. You don't react. You reposition. Let others underestimate you. That is not an insult. It is an advantage. Because while they think you are quiet, you are building an internal empire they cannot touch. 2026 is the year you stop trying to be understood and start being respected without asking for it. And if this message already resonates, if you feel that shift happening inside you, I want you to lock it in. Comment this phrase below and claim it. I rise in silence. This is only the beginning. Part 1. The death of your old self. Understand this clearly. The version of you that survived until now cannot carry you through 2026. That identity is expired. The habits you normalized, the fears you tolerated, the distractions you defended, they all end here. Transformation is not gentle. It is violent, internal, and irreversible. Machiavelli never spoke about comfort. He spoke about control. And control begins the moment you decide that your old self is no longer welcome in your future. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop romanticizing struggle. You stop calling laziness rest and fear patience. This year demands precision. Every action either builds power or leaks it. There is no neutral. You cut what drains you. You sharpen what strengthens you. You don't wait for motivation. You move through resistance until discipline replaces emotion. Masculine stoicism is not coldness. It is mastery. You feel everything, yet nothing controls you. Pain becomes data. Failure becomes instruction. Silence becomes strategy. In 2026, you do not announce change. You embody it so deeply that people feel it without you speaking. That is true dominance. That is mental fort energy. If you are ready to let the old version of you die without apology, mark the decision publicly. Comment this below and seal it. The old me is finished.
Can you tell me about that moment?
Which moment?
How you got here, how you managed it all. What's the secret?
You'll find your way. Just like I did.
Monday.com, the opposite of any work platform we tried in the past. We tried other work management platforms, not naming names. They all suck. Monday, total opposite. It didn't just work, it spread. And people became Monday evangelists. And you know why? Because people actually liked using it. Now, it's not a chore. It's intuitive. You don't have to force anyone. They're on board. You can really see that Monday care about their user. The user is king. You can create workflows yourselves, no IT, no admins. And that's why we love it. There's no roadblocks. Everything can just be done instantly. We have people creating workflows, showing them off around the company. They take pride in it. I know this sounds like a commercial, but honestly, I never expected it to have this much influence.
Part 2. Discipline becomes your freedom. 2026 will test your patience before it rewards your discipline. This is where most fail. They want outcomes without structure, power without pressure, respect without restraint. You will do the opposite. You will build systems, not moods. You will schedule pain, not pleasure. Every morning becomes a contract you honor, even when nobody is watching, especially then. Machiavellian power is boring on the surface and ruthless underneath. Repetition forges dominance. Consistency makes you invisible to temptation. While others seek balance, you seek command. You control sleep, appetite, money, words, and time. If something steals focus, it is removed. If someone drains energy, access is limited. There is no drama, only adjustment. Stoicism trains you to endure without leaking emotion. Dark psychology teaches you to see patterns without judgment. Together, they give you leverage. You stop reacting to disrespect and start engineering distance. You stop chasing opportunities and start positioning so they come to you. In 2026, discipline is not punishment. It is freedom purchased daily. You choose delayed reward because it compounds into authority. You train when tired. You study when bored. You remain calm when provoked. This is how fear dissolves. This is how confidence hardens. Speak less, observe more, move decisively. Let results speak in rooms you never enter. When doubt appears, treat it as noise, not instruction. Return to the plan. Execute the next small action. Again, again, again. If this code is settling into your bones, anchor it. Comment the phrase, "I command my days." Say it once, then live it relentlessly. The world bends to those who bend themselves first, and 2026 belongs to the disciplined. Stand firm, stay precise, protect your focus, reject shortcuts, refine your craft daily, and remember, power grows quietly, but it grows faster when you obey the process fully always. Part 4. Silence builds your reputation. In 2026, you learn a brutal truth. The more you speak, the less weight your words carry. Power is not loud. Power is consistent. Power is seen, not announced. This year, you stop narrating your life and start engineering it. You don't broadcast goals. You execute privately. You don't defend decisions. You let outcomes close mouths for you. Machiavellian strategy demands restraint because silence creates mystery, and mystery creates leverage. When people cannot read you, they project onto you. When they cannot predict you, they respect you. You stop explaining delays. You stop justifying ambition. You stop seeking agreement. Silence protects momentum. Stoicism trains you to endure boredom, loneliness, and misunderstanding without collapsing into noise. Dark psychology teaches that people reveal their true intentions when you give them nothing to react to. In 2026, you listen more than you speak. You study patterns, not promises. You let others overplay their hand while you conserve energy. This is how reputation is built, through alignment between word and action. One sentence backed by discipline outweighs 1,000 emotional speeches. You become known for follow-through, not talk. Calm replaces urgency. Precision replaces chaos. You choose your words like weapons, used only when necessary. Every unnecessary explanation is a leak. Every emotional outburst is a signal. You deny them both. Silence becomes your filter. Not everyone deserves access to your plans, your fears, or your future. Privacy sharpens ambition. Solitude strengthens resolve. In mental fort terms, this is internal fortification. Walls high, gates controlled. You don't chase credit. You let results circulate your name without you present. That is real influence. If challenged, you remain calm. If doubted, you remain consistent. If ignored, you remain focused. Time does the arguing for you. This frustrates manipulators and humbles critics. In 2026, your restraint becomes your signature. People feel your presence before you speak. They notice your absence when you leave. This is not arrogance. It is discipline matured into authority. If this code resonates, mark it internally. Comment this phrase now. My silence speaks. Then protect it. Speak less. Build more. Let 2026 remember you not for what you said, but for what you quietly became through patience, control, and relentless execution under pressure. Part 6. Control the frame. In 2026, you stop reacting to the world and start controlling the frame. Whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. Most people argue inside boxes built by others. They defend accusations they never agreed to. They explain choices they never needed to justify. You exit that trap. You decide what matters, what doesn't, and what never gets a response. This is advanced power. Machiavellian awareness teaches that influence begins before words are spoken. Tone, timing, posture, silence, and boundaries speak first. You enter conversations calm and leave them unchanged. You do not chase agreement. You set terms through presence. Stoicism trains your nervous system to remain steady under pressure. Dark psychology shows that unstable people try to pull others into emotional frames to gain control. You refuse the invitation. When attacked, you don't escalate. You redirect. When questioned, you answer briefly or not at all. When challenged, you slow everything down. Control is shown through pace. Speed is emotional. Stillness is dominant. In 2026, you choose stillness. You stop volunteering information. You stop over-explaining. You stop filling silence to ease discomfort. Silence is not awkward. It is a test. Most fail it. You pass. You allow others to reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. This shifts power instantly. You are no longer predictable. Predictability is exploitable. Calm uncertainty unsettles manipulators. They cannot push buttons they cannot find. This is how you protect your mental fort. You manage perception without obsession. You let people assume while you execute. You understand that reputation is shaped by consistency, not conversation. So you act the same privately as publicly. No masks, no performances, just alignment. When you do speak, your words land heavier because they are rare. You choose clarity over volume, precision over emotion. You frame situations in your favor by refusing to accept weak narratives about yourself. You are not lucky. You are prepared. You are not aggressive. You are intentional. You are not cold. You are disciplined. In 2026, you stop letting others label you. You define yourself through behavior repeated daily. If this principle is locking in, mark it. Comment this phrase now. I control the frame. Remember this, you don't win by arguing better. You win by choosing the ground. Control the pace, control access, control attention. The man who controls the frame controls outcomes without force, noise, or permission. He moves first internally, then externally. He remains calm when provoked, brief when questioned, and silent when silence creates advantage. This is not arrogance. This is self-command, refined. Carry this forward daily. Practice restraint, study reactions, adjust strategy, protect your frame relentlessly. In 2026, those who master the frame master themselves, and those who master themselves become impossible to move, manipulate, or break under pressure ever again. Part 7. Identity overhaul. In 2026, you do not chase goals, you rebuild identity. Goals are temporary. Identity is permanent. When identity changes, behavior follows automatically. Most people try to force discipline onto an unchanged self. then wonder why they fail. You will not repeat that mistake. You redesign who you are at the core. You decide what you tolerate, what you ignore, and what you destroy immediately. This year, you stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "Who must I become?" That question changes everything. Machiavellian power begins with self-definition. If you do not define yourself, the world will assign you a role that benefits it, not you. Stoicism teaches you that identity is built through repeated action, not self-talk. Dark psychology shows that people treat you according to the signals you consistently send. So you change the signals. Your posture becomes calm. Your words become deliberate. Your habits become non-negotiable. You no longer act based on mood. You act based on standard. Standards eliminate confusion. Confusion is weakness. In 2026, your standards become visible. You arrive on time. You leave when necessary. You speak directly. You do not gossip. You do not overshare. You do not seek reassurance. This creates friction with weak environments. Let it. Growth always offends stagnation. You accept that not everyone will recognize the new you immediately. That is fine. Identity change is not announced. It is enforced through consistency. You allow time to educate people. Mental fort is built when inner alignment becomes external presence. You stop betraying yourself for comfort. You stop shrinking to maintain access. You stop pretending. You move with internal agreement. When actions match values, confidence stabilizes. You no longer need to prove anything. Your calm becomes convincing. Your restraint becomes intimidating. You understand that identity is a daily vote. Every choice casts a ballot. Skip training, you vote for weakness. Keep your word, you vote for authority. Avoid discomfort, you vote for stagnation. Enter resistance, you vote for evolution. Over time, the votes compound. In 2026, you vote correctly even when it costs you socially. Especially then, you detach from applause. You detach from criticism. Both are distractions. You measure yourself against your own code. That is freedom. If this shift is happening inside you, anchor it now. Comment this phrase and make it real. I become the standard. Remember this, the world does not respect potential. It respects identity expressed through behavior. And in 2026, you are no longer becoming someone. You are deciding who you already are, then acting like it without hesitation, apology, or delay every single day until the old version no longer exists anywhere, even in memory, and only discipline, clarity, and controlled power remain visible to everyone who encounters you moving forward. Part 8. Power through consistent execution. In 2026, everything comes down to execution, not ideas, not motivation, not inspiration. Execution is the final separator between those who fantasize and those who dominate reality. You will notice something uncomfortable as this year unfolds. Most people know what to do. Very few actually do it. Knowledge is common. Action is rare. That rarity is where power lives.
Aqua, what's good, brother?
What is good? Hold on one sec. Okay, I think everything is set up. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can, man.
All right, dope. Super dope.
How are you this rising, brother?
I'm great, bro. How are you?
I feel like we shouldn't start off these calls with asking ourselves these questions because we give the same answer all the time. They were phenomenal.
Oh man, beyond phenomenal. Yeah, exciting times right now, to be honest with you.
You know, I feel like we're the type of characters where even if we're going through something, we're so mentally strong. Our mental fortitude is so superior that even if we were going through something, we'd still answer the question. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you, last year was a roller coaster ride, and yeah, you would have never known. So
You would never know, bro. You wouldn't know in your posture, wouldn't know in the bank account, wouldn't know in the portfolio because everything's good.
yeah, major facts, bro. Major facts.
Um, I didn't even know where to start today. I wanted to intro to everybody just some of the psychology that's shared inside the CyberX Discord, and that was one of the videos that was shared by, excuse me, one of our researchers, Camille. And that really stuck with me today during my workout. I took hella notes on this video today, so I thought it was good. It seems like the chat liked it. So what's going on, everybody in the chat? Make sure that you guys do us a favor and share this live stream if you guys are on X, you guys are over on YouTube. Let's get some more people in the view. But I wanted to start off the question because of this motivational kind of like piece that was just displayed is by asking the question, and then in just general, we'll bounce ideas off of each other one for one. But what do you think? And I want to hear your guys' opinion in the chat as well. What do you think will help more people thrive in 2026? Let's create a real, tangible, realistic list, and let's bring ourselves down from all the noise and all the speculative bullcrap that existed and compiled itself in 2025 that didn't play out. And let's really just create a list together as a team as to what could help people really truly thrive and level up in 2026. I'll let it breathe
Man,
for a second.
yeah, there's so many things. I mean, I'll just throw this out there to get it started. I would say focusing on what matters and what's within your control on a day-to-day basis is super king, and I feel like that's what contributes to a lot of the quick success that I've had in the space. Had I got addicted to just listening to Moonboy predictions and Moonboy YouTube videos and just, there's a lot of people that are tapped into crypto and that's what their day to day looks like. Had I stayed there, I would have never grown as much as I have since 2023. So, yeah, I'll start it off with saying that.
Working to master themselves, eliminating fear. I see what you guys are putting in the chat. I'm loving it so far. Dude, and yeah, and I agree with you. So many people don't even know, like, on an individual spectrum, not to like boost your ego, but know what you accomplished this year. You know, you accomplished something that most people will never experience as a retail trader in their life, and that's becoming fully profitable, right? You actually took the time to put in the work, study course material that actually teaches you how to analyze and trade the markets properly, and you applied that. And now here you are. It's the first week of 2026, and your live trading account is already $1,500 in profit.
Yeah, major facts, bro. Major facts. And if somebody would have told me you're going to be a profitable day trader back in like 2020, I would have probably not believed them. So, because my mind was not even looking at this space at all. But yeah, I agree with you.
One of the things that I wrote down that will help people level up in 2026 is stop defending distractions. Stop defending these people, these influencers, these channels, these programs, these freaking entertainment vehicles that are implemented into this space and just in your lives in general to distract you, to keep you
Yeah.
sedated, to keep you capped, right? In a sense. So many,
Mhm.
how many people were not correct about their theories or their price predictions in 2025? And then how many times will you see these people defend these individuals that were just misleading people all of 2025? I
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
I really truly encourage you guys to stop defending the distractions and instead block them out. Cut them out. Don't allow them to exist in your life in 2026. Think about
Yeah.
a whole entire year of what you could accomplish without the distractions.
Hmm. Yeah. And to answer your question real quickly, there's not been one single person outside of our community that has made a prediction correctly. There's not one single one on X that I've come across. Maybe there is, but the only person that I know that has been on point with predicting what is to come is yourself, bro. And the proof is there. We have the receipts. It's not like I'm just saying this because we're, business partners and friends. Like, no, like this is a real fact. You've been on point since 2024, as a matter of fact. If we go back till then, and probably even back further, but my focuses were in different places during those times. But yeah, to answer your question, nobody outside of our community.
I like what Vlad said. The masses are too comfortable being uncomfortable. The only motivation is you. I really like that. Eliminate fear, Yobi said. Working to master yourself. I like that. Rick said that one. Rick Fulford said that one in the chat. I wrote this down. I want to know how you feel about this one, Aqua. And I feel like you could really relate. Is in 2026, I encourage you guys to stop wanting outcomes without actually implementing strategy and structure, and make an attempt to really build systems, not build off of your current mood. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll say that one more time so that way you can get the brain juices flowing and add on to that. Stop wanting outcomes without actually implementing strategy and structure, and build systems in 2026, not your mood, not building on your mood in the current moment.
And I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with just like that HODL mindset. To be, really direct here, to build outside of that, and to focus on, just different things that yourself can implement. I would say learning DeFi, that's within your control. That's how you can go and get your digital assets working for you around the horn, as opposed to your digital assets sitting in your cold storage wallet collecting dust. You can apply yourself and learn how to trade. So now you can make money on a day-to-day basis once you've built up that skill set. That's what is within your control. And I feel like when you have multiple baskets like that too, it's going to be hard to be defeated in this space. When you have all of your eggs in one digital asset and just hodl, and you're not learning anything about DeFi, and you're not even trying, you don't even care to learn anything about trading. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's a real scary place to be in the space, in my opinion. So DeFi is the very least you can start with, in my opinion, as well. So yeah.
I think to feed off of that is, I wrote down here, stop asking what should I do and start asking who must I become. Think about this. How many people out there, either listening or just in general, thought that back in October 2025, when the market was at $4.24 trillion, it was going to go higher, and wasn't fortunate enough to understand fundamentals at the time and did not sell the top, and are still holding on to positions to this day that are probably, unless you were entering in prior to, let's say, 2024, probably in drawdown, because most assets, altcoins across the board, hit new all-time lows this year. A lot of them did. So if you were able to get into assets like XRP sub like $1, you're still obviously, of course, in a little bit of profit, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, how many assets in your portfolio, if you're continuing to hold through this pullback, could be making you passive income, to cap on what Aqua said? Think about that. And if you shied away from learning DeFi in 2025, why? Was it because you were fearful of getting rug pulled? It's too much risk to take on as to what you're already taking on. Like, whatever the reason, whatever that was for you in 2025, see that as more of an excuse instead of see of it more of an excuse that you can learn from, right? Because that's kind of low key what it is now that we're here in 2026. The whole entire time your portfolio could have been growing through this pullback. That way, now when we come out of this pullback, you have more assets, more shares of the block space for when the bull run does return, right? And if you don't know how to participate in DeFi, there are routes for you through our community or through others out there to start to learn how to really apply yourself. And so again, stop asking, what should I do? And start really focusing on who must you become to become successful. And you need to become this person that's not fearful of learning something new, of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Like, who was it that said in the chat just a second ago? I think it was the masses. Yeah, Vlad. He said the masses are too comfortable being comfortable or being uncomfortable. And I think that that's valid, right? Step outside of your comfort zone in 2026 and apply yourself, apply knowledge that exists out there to learn how to grow. And just back to what I was saying, stop wanting outcomes without actually implementing a strategy. How many people, average retailers, think of yourself, right? Really truly think about it, are just, I'm going to buy, I'm going to hodl, and I'm going to become rich one day. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but even if you were to go talk to a traditional investor, that is not a reality on how to become rich, because there's going to be market cycles where you're going to have to rebalance your portfolio. Some things that you might have invested in, you're going to have to break ties with and understand and adapt that those assets might not perform as well in this cycle that you thought they would, and you might have to invest in something else that performs better. And if you don't do that, you don't implement strategy, you're just going to remain stagnant, hoping on or holding on to this hope narrative. And hope does not make money in these markets. It does not. Strategy does, right?
Facts.
If you have no strategy, then it's statistically proven that you're probably not going to succeed over somebody who does have a strategy, who does understand how to rebalance properly, how to shift with moving tides, how to re-implement capital in certain areas of the market that might be performing better than others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's places for you to learn how to do this. I hate, boasting and saying, hey, come join our community because we know how to do it properly, although we do. I don't like to seem cocky or arrogant, but if you guys want to learn those things and you want to see how there are 3 7-figure investor mentors in the CyberX community that are guiding a community of people that are vigilant, that are ready to learn, that are hungry to make money, then come tap in with us in 2026 and stop sitting on the sidelines with this hope in your portfolio that one day you're going to make it, because you don't have to wait for some day. You could be making it today.
Yeah, that's so real, bro. Today, as a matter of fact. So, man.
Let me get one more from you, bro. What do you think will help more people thrive in 2026?
Man,
It's a deep question.
it is, and I'm trying to give like a really deep response to be honest with you. So
I'll say one more.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I encourage people, and I know how crazy this sounds, right? Because I know it'll sound crazy when I say it, because all of our lives we have been manipulated to believe that goal setting is what's going to get us to some end result. But I encourage you guys this year in 2026 to not chase goals in a sense, and instead work to rebuild your identity. Goals, we have to understand, are temporary.
Mm-hmm.
If you restructure your entire identity, that is permanent. When identity changes, the behaviors and the outcomes of your investment results will naturally follow automatically. I'll give you a perfect example. This rising, when me and Aqua were on our private call and we were talking about our day trades this morning, we both made thousands of dollars this morning day trading the markets, right? And you were explaining to me how today you were like, bro, just like 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm up, I get up, I'm motivated, I just pop up out of bed and I know that I can come into the markets, and manipulation or not, there's opportunities that exist. That wasn't a goal. That's just your identity now that you've become a profitable trader. You identify with opportunities, and then opportunities fall into your lap.
That's
You
real.
didn't have on your whiteboard like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up, and like, you didn't have some goal. It's just who you've become. You've become a disciplined, strategic, well-rounded man, gentleman, and
Yeah.
the results have followed. So I encourage you guys, and I'm not saying don't set goals by any means. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, work on really rebuilding your identity in 2026. Focus on what you consume. Understand that the things that you consume reflect in your life, reflect in your reality. If you're always consuming hopium and price predictions and this and that and distractions, it's going to reflect in your portfolio versus someone that rebuilds their identity, disciplines themselves, understands that every single day you have to apply yourselves to these markets if you want to become successful long term and not just one day out of the month. That's who
Yeah.
you need to become in 2026.
And I'll piggyback that and say, you know, the identity is it plays a huge role, because it's like, I'll use this analogy. It's like, you know, working out. Once you obtain the chest and the biceps and the six pack, you can't just stop and tomorrow you're going to maintain that and the next day you're going to maintain that. No. If you lose your identity on what got you there, you're going to lose everything that you've gained. So changing your identity and maintaining that identity and constantly evolving that identity for the better, that's the place you want to be at mentally. And that's what's going to keep you going, and having those goals and those milestones, you know, to help your growth overall is that's the best mindset to have. I feel like goal setting can be somewhat of a trap if you don't implement it as like as your identity, and you just, you know, think of it as this is the, you know, the final flag and I'm done now. No, there's still more work to be done. Like, I became a funded trader, but I can't just, you know, let the markets go day by day without me participating and still applying myself. This is a day-to-day, you know, identity thing. So I think you nailed it right on the money with what you said, bro.
I'll say one more thing to wrap up the question that we asked at the beginning of this, is just what do you think will help more people thrive in 2026? I think that the list that we created is pretty substantiating and will help a lot of people. And then I want to throw a question to start over into another cycle of questions. But just the last thing I'll say that I wrote down from the video that we introed with is attempt to base your investments off of real execution and not these frothy ideas. Understand that execution is the final separation between those who fantasize and those who actually dominate reality, right? Write that one down. Most people know what to do, but very few people actually do it. Knowledge is very common, but action is very rare. We need to understand that fortune, wealth, growth, it favors people who are prepared, who are strategic, who are disciplined, not people who are hopeful to become lucky. Last thing I will say is stop waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions in these markets are a myth used by influencers who are undisciplined to delay discomfort. Okay. And if that doesn't resonate with you, then this channel and this podcast and what we have to bring to the table at CyberX is not for you. Right. So I will ask you this question, Aqua, because now that you've become an individual who can scalp both sides of the market like a freaking badass, you know those posts, bro, where it's like Bitcoin just rallied $3,000 and then crashed $3,000. Now that you've seen the information that we post in CyberX, what do you see those market movements as? Do you see them as manipulation or do you see them as opportunity?
Oh, those are major opportunities. Are you kidding me, bro? Those are major opportunities. So yeah, bro, I'm like, that's people made money. You know what I mean? Like, and that's going hand in hand with that hodl mindset. When you just have that hodl mindset and you don't understand the full picture of what this space consists of, you just get clouded by those types of thoughts. But it's like, yo, you know, once you're on this side of the fence, you're not necessarily going to FOMO into a project either. Like right now, I'm eyeballing Canton, and I have stable coins on the side here, but I'm waiting for my entry point, which is 14.5 cents, right? And that's just an opportunity because I'm using the Fibonacci tool. So, once you start learning trading, I mean, you can use it in so many different areas in this space. It's one hell of a skill set to have in this space, I feel like, and it makes you like, I feel like an assassin now in the space, bro. Like,
It really truly does. It opens up your third eye to what the markets actually are instead of what the markets or what you think the markets are. It's like so weird, bro. When you first come into investing, there's like this curtain of distraction. There's this curtain of influencers. There's this curtain of misleading information that you really have to work. You have to do the inner work to peel through, or it just like traps you. It just literally traps you and engulfs all of your decision making. It engulfs your entire thought process, and then you yourself turn into this statistic that follows the masses, that starts to think the markets are against you or are manipulated to make you lose. When in reality, any sophisticated investor with professional history under their belt understands that the volatile swings that come from market manipulation are just opportunities and nothing else. So
money making opportunities too. So let's not forget.
110% money making opportunity, bro. This year is gonna be. I'm super stoked for this year. Like,
Yeah, bro. Me too, bro. I'm so happy I put in all the work that I did and I kept going. And, thanks for you, to you giving me extra motivation and believing that I had what it take to do it. But I'm super happy that I did do it and I'm here now. And, anybody that's on that side of the fence that wants to come to this side of the fence and learn how to trade, you can do it. Like, apply yourself, tap in with our community. I'm telling you, what we have in this community is an edge like no other. And yeah, once you're in and you really start getting a feel of the culture inside of our community, man, it's hard to leave, in my opinion.
it is, bro.
So
There's people that have
yeah,
been in our community for 4+ years. There's literally over 100 people who have been in our community for since 2021, which is pretty crazy.
yeah,
Um,
bro.
you talked about Canton, so I'll shift the conversation, and you also talked about passive income. And I know yesterday I streamed a conversation with Yuval on Kiln live, and he said some pretty interesting things that I want to replay. And we had talked about in the chat yesterday on the live stream on getting your Canton working for you over on the Braun wallet. So I want to dive a little bit into that real fast. First off, nothing that we conversate on here is investment advice. I do not encourage you guys to go out there and buy the Canton coin and invest in the digital asset Canton coin. I actually personally myself, just like Aqua, am waiting for another opportune moment to enter into the market at a discount if the market presents that opportunity because I was able to invest at the local bottom. I will not be chasing the current hype around Canton or any of that nature. But still, nonetheless, there were some very good questions on how to get your Canton working for you and where to get it from and all these things that I want to make very transparent since we created the Wealth 28 Club and we are all about DeFi and getting your assets working for you. So first off, some institutional context for the naysayers out there that are like, there's always those people that are like, it's too risky, da 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 da. Okay. Let's put that aside for just a second and let's actually listen to the institutional players. So, starting off here, I'll share my screen. Then I'll get into kind of how to earn rewards using your Canton on the Braun wallet, which Braun, by the way, was created by institutional players that come from Copper. If you guys don't know the organization Copper out there in the institutional game, just take some time and do your own personal research. But I said here, or if you want to read this, Aqua, so that way I'm not taking over the conversation, you're more than welcome, bro. If you can see that print.
I'll get the next one. I got my little one right here. So
All right.
I'll get the next one. I'm going to try to get her. Or hold on. She might be leaving. I can do it here. All right. I got you. I'll do it. She's leaving here. All right. So it says here, cash flow is king. Speculative Price appreciation is cool, but hope is not a strategy. Which of your digital assets are paying you while you sleep? We must shift our focus to NN chain income streams that don't care about hype cycles. If your entire portfolio relies on one day selling higher, you're still trading time for luck. The future belongs to people who understand this shift, assets that work, capital that circulates, yield that compounds daily. Price goes up, great. Price chops, you're still getting paid. Price goes down, you're stacking more automatically. Don't just ask what you can moon, start asking what can pay me. Cash flow over narratives, yield over hope, education over guessing. This is the era of ownership that earns. Canton Network, Brown Wallet.
Yeah, good one on you, bro. This is a typo too up here. I was talking about Canton Network up here, not NN chain. That was a typo on my part. But nonetheless, right, since you were talking about Canton and just getting your digital assets working for you, before we jump into the Braun wallet, I just want to show you guys, this is from Ripple Swell. Okay, this panel discussion that took place in 2025. And here you're listening to Sandy Call, right? Sandy Call has active and valid credentials. Me and Aqua have played her many times at the DTCC. She is an advisor, a board member at the CFTC. She plays a role in the World Economic Forum, and she currently works at Franklin Templeton. And Franklin Templeton actually just recently partnered back in November 2025 with Canton Network. And here she specifically goes on to talk about this future that we're headed into of passive income, right? Getting your assets working for you and how that is going to be the future. So just take a second real quick and listen, coming directly from an institutional player, talk about exactly what we discuss here in the CyberX Well 28 Club.
That world is going to disappear, right? We're going to move into a world where everything becomes centralized in a wallet, a cryptographically protected wallet where all of our assets are going to be aggregated. And this is why they need to be tokenized, right? So that they can sit in the wallet and we can start to optimize and have that aggregation, not just an aggregated view, which is all we're capable of doing today, even with all the technology that exists. We just aggregate the view across all of our different accounts. We're going to actually have real aggregation, and these assets will sit side by side and be interoperable. And this opens up tremendous new opportunities for how to use those assets, how to create passive income from those assets, how to create active income from those assets. So it's an exciting new vision. But to Ryan's point, unless we can pay for things.
So straight to the point, she's talking about generating passive income from these assets in a digital wallet in one centralized location, right? And so knowing that she stems from Franklin Templeton and is talking about passive income, and then back in November 2025, you have Franklin Templeton partnering with Canton on the Benji technology platform to expand collateral possibilities on tokenized networks. So it says here, this integration creates new opportunities for Canton's global collateral network. Again, posting digital assets as collateral, having the ability to lend and borrow your digital assets, right, is a phenomenal scalable use case, where participants such as QCP plan to now leverage the platform as a source of liquidity. This development reinforces Canton's ability to support interconnected use cases across traditional finance and digital asset markets, while meeting the regulatory and privacy requirements of global institutions. So I was just showing you guys again that there is some form of correlation. I'm not just showing you Sandy Call for no reason. There's a specific reason why I'm showing her to you, or showing her to you guys. Nonetheless, though, you come over here to the Braun wallet, which was established by an institutional player in this space, Copper, and you guys could be earning passive rewards. Okay, so here, just to show you guys in my personal wallet, right? Making rewards every single day at the same exact time every single day. Right now, I'm earning on average anywhere between 10 to 12 bucks on Canton per day, just by holding the native digital asset Canton and Braun in a wallet. Now, There are some requirements, and I'll go over this, but Aqua, you're shaking your head. What's your opinion on this, and kind of, are you doing the same thing? Let me hear your thoughts real fast.
Yeah, I'm doing the same exact thing, and the rewards are coming in like clockwork. And yeah, give me just a second though. Actually, hold on one second, bro.
Aqua's got his baby there. But yeah, so nonetheless, right? If you guys are interested in it, again, I'm not promoting this by any means. I do not encourage anybody to invest in Canton. I see some of you guys in the chat are, so I would love to help you guys out, kind of understand the dynamics on how to do this, the routes that you need to take, so that way you can do it properly if you choose to take this type of investment approach. And so this is not all the Canton that I hold. I'll be transparent with you guys, but it is the amount of Canton that you need to unlock the reward tier, the level 1 reward tier that the Braun wallet offers. And so in order to do this, you need to go and you need to create a Braun wallet. I personally would go to the Braun Twitter page, so that way you're making sure that you're getting it directly from the source and not Googling Braun wallet and getting some phony website. It's not available as an application on a mobile device. It's only available on desktop browser and a desktop app. So understand that. And in order to participate, you need a minimum of 10,000 Canton coins, and you also need a minimum of 10,000 Braun coins. And all you have to do to earn passive rewards in this program at the basic level tier, because the tiers go up, I won't go over all those tiers, but just to meet the bare minimum requirement for tiers, 10,000 Canton, 10,000 Braun, and then you just hit the participation button and the rewards on Braun, and you start earning daily rewards. It's a phenomenal way to earn passive income on your holdings while you're waiting for price appreciation. In my personal opinion, DeFi is one of the best ways for anybody to hedge against the volatility that the digital asset space inherently comes with, while stacking more bags on assets that you're already net bullish on, right? And so go ahead.
And I'll just say, to piggyback that, one of my strategies is right now, because I have the same amount of rewards coming in daily in Canton, I've been swapping it for USDT Tether to lock in, basically where the price is at, because I do feel, this is not financial advice, obviously. I do feel like there could be a potential pullback, and I feel like it would be amazing to stack these rewards and basically stack a side bag. So when that day of pullback does come, I can now dollar cost average in with the rewards that my bags were currently building for me. And these are the types of strategies that you could learn from, inside the Wealth 28 Club. And the more and more you learn about DeFi, I'm pretty sure other strategies will come to your mind that's tailored, for your life, because everyone's finances are different, right? So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
actually personally agree that in 2026, especially considering some of the market turmoil that we are and still need to get through, like the decision around Trump's tariffs from Congress, the possible escalations of geopolitical tensions in either the Middle East, China, Taiwan, Venezuela, all these things that have been weighing on market sentiment could escalate further, driving more demand for safe haven assets and less for risk assets. We could still see the possibility of a yen intervention create yen carry trade unwinds that would be net negative for risk assets like crypto. So there's a lot of catalysts that I think could possibly weigh on prices. And even Yuval himself on December 30th, when Canton started ripping, said, please don't FOMO in too hard. There's still risk in what we build. But I believe that what we're building, we have the right ingredients to deliver on-chain capital markets at scale. And I personally said I would buy so much more Canton if we ever hit the dark pools below 5 cents. So I'm personally waiting on those. It would be very nice if we were to see those pullbacks. But nonetheless, while we wait, why not earn rewards? I have the risk tolerance to expose a portion of my portfolio in Canton over in the Braun wallet to earn those rewards. And yes, because of the mechanics, user how it's asked, won't your rewards reduce over time? Yes, because of the native aspects of the Canton network over time. Yes, your rewards do. Well, in a sense, they balance out with the appreciation of the Canton coin. So the more that Canton coin appreciates, the less Canton coin you get, but it balances out over time. I don't know how to explain that in detail right now without the white papers and documents open for you, but um, obviously, of course, nothing is guaranteed in this market. Still, nonetheless, it's a great way to combat against the volatility that these markets expose you to while earning more of a coin that you are net bullish on long term. So it's a win-win in my personal opinion if you're willing to take the small, in my personal opinion, again, amount of risk that it requires for you to start earning, right? Because think about it. Think about all the people that sidelined themselves and didn't participate in DeFi all of 2025 because they were like, it's too risky. But now here we are in 2026 and DeFi is still around. All the protocols where you could have been getting your digital assets, like look at all the ISO tokens right now, as an example. Go look at XPR network, loan protocol, right? You got HBAR that could be working for you, XLM that could be working for you, Solana that could be working for you, XRP that could be working for you, Litecoin that could be working for you. All these assets that a lot of people hold long term could be working for you on one platform and one secure wallet. And they chose not to because it's too much risk or whatever the case may be, thinking that DeFi is going to go away, but it's not going away. It's only going to continue to be adopted by these large institutions at a granular scale over time. Um, it's not for everybody, mind you, but still, nonetheless, it's just a great way to earn passive rewards on a portion of your portfolio that you're willing to expose the risk to. That's my opinion on it. Aqua, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for somebody who has that mindset that thinks that DeFi is going away, man, like you really need to tap in and get educated on DeFi and what it entails because, like I've been saying, DeFi is the heartbeat of crypto. So DeFi, it really matters. And, why not take advantage of the opportunities that we have right now at our fingertips while we watch, the space grow. So, yeah.
To wrap it up, because we've been on for an hour now, I want to just play a couple of the video clips and just kind of hear your feedback, you listening to these video clips for the first time, because we played this video yesterday on the live, but you weren't on. And Yuval was just saying some pretty phenomenal things. And I think that there's one thing that he says that you can relate a video breakdown to. I believe it's John Ungerlin and who else? John Ungerlin and who else? And Marshall Hayner.
Yeah.
And just this ideology behind all these blockchains and these protocols that keep promising year after year after year, mass adoption of institutions and this and that, but it's just not, it hasn't happened. And the TVL shows. And honest to God, as retail investors that house a lot of our net worth in these protocols, I think it's beneficial for us to question, hype from reality. So let's just play some of these video clips, bounce your feedback off Aqua after the clips play. And then you can also throw the video of Marshall Hayner, John Ungerlin. I'll play that video second. So let's play this one first. This is where Yuval Ruse, the founder of Digital Asset and Canton Network, goes on to talk about how he expects in the future, just to give you guys some optimism moving forward into 2030 and beyond. Again, mind you, I say 2030 and beyond because we are not overnight moon boys here at CyberX. We understand that these things are going to take time. But he does project that Canton will become one of the top performing, if not the number one smart contract blockchain in the world. This is coming directly from Yuval himself, not me. And so if you guys want to go further and speculate by putting market cap with Ethereum's market cap, which is the number one smart contract blockchain right now, you guys are more than welcome on your own time to do that. But I just thought that this was an interesting statement from Yuval himself from about a month ago. Take a second here and listen.
Privacy protocols that are talking about coming to Canton and now taking advantage of the privacy features and the assets and the users to actually drive, financial activity. So that's just kind of the types of partners that we want in the network, and that's how the foundation operates. Is it wants to reward those that actually bring activity. So you cannot buy yourself. I mean, you can buy Canton coins and We would love for people to do that because I do think that it will be the #1 smart contract chain in the world very soon. But, as a foundation, our way of rewarding, uh, uh, being part of the network, earning, being a super validator is by being an active participant of the community rather than buying your way into it.
One thing that I really like that I learned about Canton Coin personally, why I'm so bullish on it, there's two particular reasons. First off, all of the coins in circulation, and this is coming directly from a co-founder. I could probably find the video if you guys wanted me to. It'd take me some time to go through my notebook, but I could find it. But all of the coins in circulation, at least the vast majority of them, have come from people earning the Canton coin because they provide utility to the network. And that is how more coins go into circulation into or on the Canton network. The second thing that I really like about Canton Coin is that they had a fair launch. So they didn't give the founders like Yuval and Eric a whole bunch of coins. Yuval and Eric themselves, if they want to hold Canton Coin, they actually have to go on the open market, just like us as retail investors, and purchase it. So there isn't going to be a bunch of whales that hold a lot of Canton coin because they got given it at the early onset of Canton Coin, dumping on retail investors that are now speculating on Canton Coin, which I really personally enjoy, right? Which is completely different from the vast majority of other projects. I'm not going to name names, but how many times do you go out there and see on Twitter, oh, whales are dumping on retail investors? That's not going to happen on Canton because they don't have a bunch of coins to dump, unless Yuval himself just went in and put $10 million of his own money into freaking Canton Coin to then go and just dump it, which is probably unrealistic. He seems like a very sophisticated man that wouldn't take the time to do something like that. I personally really like that they did that. So that motivates me a little bit more. Let me skip on, because you guys heard him now say that he projects that Canton Coin will be the #1 smart contract blockchain in the world. This is where you're going to be able to bounce your video off of Aqua, where he says, all these big promises that never worked by all these blockchains. Take a second and listen.
They alone, if I'm not mistaken, have tokenized over $2 trillion of U.S. Treasuries and do about $100 to $150 billion of repo every day. And people in crypto are like, I don't believe you. That's no way. And you then go and look at the repo market and you realize that it's about $10.5 trillion every day. And you're like, okay, 150 billion is not that much. So I think that a lot of times people in crypto have like this kind of tunnel view and they're like, 3.5 trillion, that's the world. Actually, it's not. And it's far from it. And when they look at, the daily volume of 200 billion, that is tiny. So I think that we are trying to open the perimeter of appreciating what is the opportunity. And, I think that why people don't know about it. I mean, I think that, and I don't think this will come as a surprise. I think that a lot of the problem of crypto is big promises that were not delivered. And I think that for us, the way we wanted to take this to market is actually build beachheads of real things of magnitude. And when we launch the public network and we actually bring this to life, it's not going to be yet another white paper of what will happen in the future, right? And I think that that's just, the last week I've had like these really cool conversations, and people are like, why have I not heard about you? And I was like, actually intentional. I think that it will have a much bigger impact where you could actually demonstrate what's now, what's real, rather than again talk about the future. So that's just was a very intentional go-to-market strategy. We want to have when the Canton Coin lists, we want to have real convexity to the price, and I think that the only way to do that is because there's real activity. There's real world activity that is not necessarily just like gambling, right? I think that this is my biggest vision is if the market goes up or down 10%, the repo market still prints $10 trillion every day. So we want to bring activity that is not going to be so correlated with market movement. It's because they're running real underlying business. So that's, I think, the reason why people haven't heard about it. And I think very soon you're going to see Keiko and Cumberland just announced a partnership yesterday.
So, he's talking about why people haven't heard of Canton, and he specifically said like they built it that way. He's also talking about price appreciation, how they want it to come from real utility and value on the network. And he mentioned the problem with crypto is all these blockchains that for so many years have come out with all these big promises, but they just haven't worked. I don't know who he's hinting at in the back of his mind, but we can all sit here and speculate on who he's talking about, right? Now, one thing I will say that blew my freaking mind. So Emmett from Canton Network posted this article, which I highly encourage you guys to go read. It's very informative from Blockworks. But there's this snippet here that blew my freaking mind, y'all. Okay. And obviously, of course, this is not reflected right now in the price of Canton coin, but you need to understand that it is for a fact a reality. And right now, it's that Canton coin is quietly processing more value than the entire cryptocurrency market cap doubled. Okay. And just think about that if that were to ever reflect in Canton coin in the future. Speculative in nature, but still nonetheless, a fact is happening right now. And that's Broadridge Financial Solutions, a global fintech leader in trading and settlement infrastructure. Broadridge distributed ledger repo platform runs on Canton and currently processes, this is nuts, more than $8 trillion per month in repo transactions. Now, me and Aqua did the math this rising. That's $96 trillion a year, y'all. Okay. So you guys, again, take that for what it is, considering that you've all mentioned he believes that Canton will be the number one smart contract blockchain in the world. And look at what they're already doing. No other chain right now can say this. Not XRPL, not Stellar, not HBL. Like, there's no argument. There's no argument. Not Chainlink, nobody. And I'm not saying that they compete because I don't think they compete. Mind you, I'm the type of person that houses a lot of these digital assets in his portfolio. And I think we're going to have an interoperable system, a network of networks where all these different networks are, they commingle with each other and they all exist. But I definitely do believe that certain chains are going to have a bigger market share than others. And Canton is putting its money where its mouth is at. So just, something to consider in the future, especially as we head in 2026. Aqua, because he mentioned big promises, I want you to go ahead and share that video that you had mentioned.
Yeah, let me share my screen here, and this is just we're getting close here. The window of opportunity is closing, and you want to make sure you're on the right side of the fence. Not financial advice, but when you hear repeated stuff from different leaderships, from different projects that are aligned, man, it's hard to fade it. So let me let's see here. It's at the 20th minute, I believe, or the 29th minute. All right, hold on. Let's see here. All right. Hold on.
Real quick, while it's waiting, what are we about to listen to again so that the audience knows?
So this was a podcast with John Ungerland and Marshall Hayner from last year now in September. And basically they were talking about the timeline basically for the next 3 to 12 months. And the snippet I'm about to share, John basically shares what's to come in January 2026. Fast forward, we're in January 2026, and what he was saying piggybacks what you just played from Yuval Ruse, or is that how you pronounce his last name? Ruse. But yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, let's see here. Hold on 1 second here. I don't know why it's tripping.
Google search if it was tables a big if they want to is driving don't get plugged in. It's federally and at the state level and global level. That the next thing that we'll see coming is the digital asset space is going to erode your interchange income.
That's what I've heard.
If you're a local financial institution out there and you make money off of plastic cards, hypothetically, that interchange income is a significant portion of your non-interest income or your operating income. If it's how you're staying alive, I can almost guarantee you that by January of 2026, you will see major moves and announcements and plays by merchant processors and other large out there where they will adopt digital asset payments, they will adopt stablecoin payments, they will adopt Bitcoin payments, because it will have a significant impact on their operating costs, and they will incentivize consumers to move away from traditional payment mechanisms that are slower, more expensive, and less secure. So come downstream, more legislation, more regulation, driving the consumers into these spaces vis-a-vis FIs, and probably some disruption and challenges to payments. The good news is, through our bridge and gateway in partnership with Metallicus, we can make sure that your deposit dollars don't have to leave your FI.
Yeah.
You stay a funding source in the payment stream and the transaction stream, and you can maintain wealth and share of wallet and continue to serve the community even as money morphs in the way that other services did when they bumped into the internet in the past.
Yeah.
So that's what we see coming, and we're committed to ensuring the industry has a solid set of tools, the best set of tools, and a ready gateway, a functioning gateway. And I think another thing is, this is real. We've built this, it's functioning, it's live, it works.
Cool.
Another thing you're going to see coming is a lot of people announcing plans and promises, which is where we're excited to already have product and solutions that are turnkey for shops trying to solve these problems right now.
Hand in hand, bro. Plans and promises. You heard all that, right?
Yeah, 110%. Bro, I'm telling you, man, you know, I feel like 2026 is going to catch a lot of people off guard with projects that they thought were going to be the chosen ones, but ended up not being. And then the projects that really behind the scenes were putting in a lot of work that went relatively unnoticed in 2025 is going to show in 2026. I feel like there's a new era of utility. And I'm not saying that old utility coins that people have speculated on aren't going to perform well by any means, because I think they will. But I just think that there's underlying value in a lot of coins that a lot of people put aside because they're still so fixated on older utility coins that have been hyped up for so many cycles now, that they're going to miss out on opportunities for, you know, projects like Canton. Like, how many people weren't able to buy in to Canton at 5 cents? I'm not saying that it's never going to be 5 cents again. Hopefully it will be. Hopefully we see a pullback. But if it's not, you know, what were you doing when Canton was trading at 5 cents? You know, whose community were you focused in on and paying attention to? Because in the CyberX community, I mean, we've been doing research on Canton for over 2 years now with timestamps to prove it, since 2023 when they partnered with BNB Paribas. So, you know, big things to come, bro, in 2026. I really truly feel like there's going to be some sleepers, some sleeping giants that a lot of people aren't focused on because they're holding on to outdated narratives. And it'll show. You know, it'll show.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, bro.
I'll play this last clip and then we'll hop off because we're going on an hour and 13. But just this is Yuval's vision here, where he just talks about how, you know, they plan Canton Network to have every financial transaction running on Canton. So just take a second here and listen. Let me slow down his words here so you guys can really soak this one in. And again, you know, because we talk about specific projects on this podcast, it doesn't mean we're encouraging you guys to go out there and invest. I actually discourage that. I don't encourage any investments into the digital asset space unless you've done a real risk assessment on your own personal behalf and you've done the research, you've put in the work, you've read the documents, you've read the white papers, you've researched the team, you've watched over 10 panel discussions coming from all the people that run the organizations that these digital assets come from, so on and so forth, and you've really put in the elbow grease. Or if you guys want to find that research, that information, you want to do that deep diving, head over to cyberxtrading.com. We'd love to have you in the Discord. The research team would welcome you. So take a second real fast and listen to what Yuval says, and then we'll wrap this up. Let me share my screen again. How do I get that back on stage? Here we go.
Kenton, to be the legacy of?
Yeah, I'll start with the end. I mean, our vision is that every financial transaction of any meaning will run on Canton, and I think we really have a chance of doing that because we've been patient, we've been thoughtful, and we've taken our time to think about what would that require. So that's we want to become the backbone of the next iteration of financial markets. I think from a use case perspective, I think that what we have seen as really good use cases right now. It's not
Right. So you heard that. I just thought that was an interesting perspective. And before we go, okay, it's so funny how people will come into these conversations and miss the entire first portion of our call, where we motivated individuals, we set people straight for the year ahead, and then you have fucked up people like Apayas or whoever the fuck you are, right? This shit irritates me. Because what you don't know is that XRP is actually the biggest asset in my portfolio. I've been buying XRP since 2016. I'm not a flip-flop because I diversify my portfolio. Like, what are you saying right now?
Yeah, it's such a native like mindset comment, to be honest with you.
I've actually good.
That's just the mindset that crushes many people, because you miss out on so many opportunities just rooting for one team and thinking that one team is going to rule them all.
It's weird, bro, that people don't want to make money. Like, you came into the space to make money. That's what I'm assuming, right? So if you have the opportunity to diversify in assets outside of just XRP, which is not the only one that's going to rule the entire market share of this crypto ecosystem, why would you not take advantage of it? So who really looks like the idiot here, right? You're speaking out of tongue on a podcast and saying things that you have no room saying because you don't know me personally, nor, do you have any credibility to just be like, oh, you're a flip-flop? What are you talking about? I love XRP. I think that they're going to do phenomenal things. I'm super stoked about the DeFi ecosystem in the XRPL and putting my XRP to work to earn passive rewards. I'll probably actually be one of the individuals that never sells my XRP when it goes to $10, $20, $30. And instead, what I'll do is I'll lend it out, borrow stable coins against it, and leverage DeFi to expand my wealth, probably never selling my XRP for fiat like all these other moon boys make people believe. It's so nuts. Go ahead, Aqua.
I feel like we just weren't a dopamine XRP hit today for this individual as well.
Yeah, we didn't give them the fucking Jake Claver to $1,000 XRP price predictions like they like to see, and that set them off. So whatever, dude. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's just weird that of everything that we put out for today's video breakdown, that's what people gravitate towards. So if you're not that type of person and you actually enjoyed this podcast, then shout out to you guys. Y'all are the real ones. And people like the dude in the chat just now, block those types of people in 2026. Don't let those types of people into your life in 2026 because they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They're simple-minded people that, realistically speaking, are just projecting their internal insecurities out onto people. And it's disgusting, So
yeah.
Mad weird.
Mad weird. Yeah.
Like imagine meeting a person like that in person. That's fucking weird.
Yeah. I feel like they would peg themselves immediately and they would just tell themselves with their talk track, because anybody with, a logical mindset and that's a majority of people that are, you know, on this podcast today, understand that everything that we shared today were straight gems. You know what I mean? And we don't always have to share about, you know, XRP or Metallicus. Yeah, today's conversation steered towards Canton Network because we are a diversified group of people. We're not putting all of our eggs in just one basket. So
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure though at one point I even said don't invest in Canton. I said that, didn't I?
yeah,
So
you definitely did.
how the fuck am I shilling Canton if I literally told you guys don't invest in?
Yeah, yeah.
This is exactly why people just won't become millionaires, because they don't have the mindset to become a millionaire. You have to avoid these people at all costs and just lock in, guys and gals. So if you rocked with us this podcast, I'm not going to let that energy ruin the remaining portion of this call. Then we appreciate the love and the support. And if you guys ever want to really truly level up, you want to dive into some of the sophisticated research, the institutional delta zones and dark pool analytical platform that we built at CyberX that's taken us over 4 years to solidify and bring into fruition, head over to cyberxtrading.com. We would love to have you guys on the team. And if not, just keep tapping into our podcast and all the publicly available information. Both myself and Aqua have YouTubes. We both have Twitters where we're constantly dropping free content on a consistent daily basis. We'll rock with you guys in 2026. We'll keep doing these podcasts on Fridays throughout the week. I, myself, or Aqua will be streaming some of the research inside the private CyberX Discord. You guys got a little taste of that over the holidays, where we're going to be streaming some of the podcasts, some of the video breakdowns that go relatively unnoticed that nobody pays attention to. You know, the podcasts like this one, this podcast alone has less than 400 views, but it is filled with jam-packed gems. We're going to be sharing those throughout the week in the evening times on our Twitter and on YouTube Live. So make sure that you guys are tapped in with us. As always, many blessings to you guys. Remember the beginning of this call, all the things that we mentioned and talked about that will allow you to become successful in 2026. And how we ended this call was a perfect example of people to just avoid at all costs. Block these individuals out of your life. There is no space or room for them for us successful individuals in 2026. Many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant, be aware out there, and we will see you guys on the next podcast. Everybody take it easy.
Much love, everybody.